Hey everybody, Scott Sachs in Washington, D.C., here today to talk to you about TOPA rights and what you need to know to protect yourself when buying or selling a property. Hey everybody, Scott Sachs. We're talking about TOPA rights today, which is Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act. In Washington, D.C., D.C. landlord laws are very stringent, so you have to be very careful when treading through the waters of dealing with properties that have tenants. With a lot of my investment clients and dealing with multifamilies, this is just a normal part of that process. And understanding those timelines and when you serve the notice to the tenants, what their rights are under those notices, once you get an offer, how you present that to the parties, etc. The assignability of those rights are all things that are important to understand and to work with the real estate professional that can properly maintain a transaction and be a proper consultant for you in those situations. Now, what I also want to talk about is a change in the regulations, and this really speaks to the companies that underwrite your title insurance. So just recently, there's been a change where on the jurisdictional addendum in Washington, D.C., there's a clause that is titled tenancy. And under that clause, it states specifically, seller represents that property is or is not subject to an existing residential lease or tenancy at the time seller decided to sell. It's very subjective, but the new regulation essentially says that you can't sign listing paperwork with an agent until, number one, the lease on the property has expired, and two, the security deposit for that lease has been returned to the tenant in order for you not to be subjected to TOPA rights, meaning having to go back to that tenant, even if they moved out 3 months ago, but you signed listing paperwork before you return the security deposit to that tenant, you're now subject to TOPA rights. You have to track them down, serve them the proper notices, go through those various processes because, and this is where the criteria has changed, underwriters of the title policies now see that as a liability. If you've had a tenant in that property within 3 to 4 months of the time you're signing listing paperwork, they want to know that the tenant isn't coming back to you and making any claims either for the security deposit or monetary reasons where there was rent that wasn't returned, etc. So this is very important because a lot of people are selling units right now in the Washington, D.C. area, whether it's a single family or a condo where they did have tenants in there. A lot of people are using these as investment properties and are now going to sell them. This is something you need to be careful of. Talk to your real estate professional. Make sure they understand what they're doing and that you're working with somebody who is aware of these new changes to benefit you and to make sure it's a smooth transaction. If you have questions, contact me at my website, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day.